Hi, I'm Chrissy Jamie, wedding photographer and filmmaker based in Philly, and welcome to my channel where I bring you, my engaged couples, advice, tips, tricks, and what have yous to help you along your wedding planning journey. Hello. Today we are talking about different photography styles and what they actually mean. Because a lot of times we hear these terms thrown around like documentary, editorial, candid, but what do they actually mean? Let's dive in. Now the first style we're gonna dive into is documentary / journalistic. This is basically where I'm not even there. So I'm quite literally just documenting. This is what your wedding day would look like with little to no input from your photographer. Literally just letting you go about your day, and I'm just there like a little fly on the wall, just snapping away, but you don't even know I'm there. I try to make myself as invisible as possible, and just capturing the moments as they're unfolding. Capturing as you just are having these emotional moments with your girlies or your parents or your just loved ones in general. And I'm just there just snapping away. And so you could basically think of documentary as no direction. So I'm there, but I'm not giving you any input. I'm not giving you any direction. So literally as the day unfolds, you're not looking at me for direction or anything. You're in your own world with your fam, and I am literally just a fly on the wall, not really making a peep or a sound. Maybe a little for cute moments, but in general, not making a sound. Just like when you think of journalism, that's news reporters, because documentary is interchangeable with journalistic style, and that's literally if you think of a journalist photographer, their job is to literally go to these different news sites or events or anything and just capture enough photos to tell the story. And that's what we're doing. We're telling the story of your wedding day. So the next style we're gonna dive into is one of my personal faves. It's candid, because we love candids. So this one is a little bit like documentary, but you get more direction. And so this one is I'm giving you prompts to kind of draw out that candid emotion, that candid laughter. We're creating and crafting an environment where you are able to be authentically yourself, but you still have some direction. So this is especially great for people who are a little nervous in front of the camera. So I want direction. I need somebody to tell me what to do, but you don't want it to be stiff or anything like that. And that's where candid comes in. It's literally the perfect blend of you're still not, again, you're not superposed, but you are directed to get that candid emotion. I'll position you, and then it's okay, now do this, or now talk about this. So you get one of my favorite prompts is I'll have one of the partners put kisses from the forehead down to your cheek, and these are just little things to just get you out of your shell and getting you interacting with each other, but you have that grounding of direction. So this is a nice middle ground. If having no direction absolutely terrifies you, you're no, I need someone to tell me what to do. But you don't want too much direction, but you still want that candid emotion and everything. This is that perfect middle ground. Now another style fave is editorial. So this one is in ways almost the complete opposite of documentary, because this one is a lot of direction and more posing than prompting. So it's really we kind of went in order, documentary, no direction; candid, a little direction; editorial, a lot of direction. Like I said, this is more posed than prompt. So think magazine covers, because they're editorial magazine covers. So you're I'll like literally position you exactly right, and because I know what looks good and how the lighting is hitting and just how the composition is compositioning. So we will get you all right and looking like you should be on Vogue weddings. So in order to really achieve this style, you absolutely need photographer input. You need photographer direction. It is literally essential to making editorial style come to life. So we kind of went in order in terms of how much direction is given. Because documentary is like little to no direction. Candid is just like a touch of direction. And then editorial is all of the direction. And so another style you often hear a lot is fine art. And this one is kind of like editorial, but like light and airy. So it's often more overexposed, so it's a lot lighter. It's basically the exact opposite of dark and moody, which is another one you hear a lot, which is literally when things are underexposed. And it really gives moody vibes. Fine art is the exact opposite. It gives light and airy. Also, like, it gives more museum than magazine. So you are, like, if your portrait was in a museum, think about that versus a magazine cover. So those are the two main differences. And in this one, there's high attention to detail, a lot of attention to like literally all the little, your jewelry, all the details you might be wearing, the things in your hair. Like there's just so much attention to detail. So this last style isn't technically a style, but still a term you hear a lot referred to as a style. So this one is film photography. So this is literally shooting on analog film. Now, a lot of photographers have made the switch over to digital by now, but you have a lot of photographers that still shoot just solely on film, but even more that actually shoot both. They call themselves hybrid photographers, which means they shoot on digital and film, so you get the best of both worlds. But for film gives photos more of a romantic feel. It gives them more of a nostalgic touch, and with film, it adds more texture to the photos because you're dealing with actual film, and so it adds that extra layer. And with film, it's great because you don't, like for us photographers, we don't have to edit because we chose the film stock because of how it looks. And so it's more about how you expose it on the front end. So be prepared that it does take more time. Film photos, not only does it take more time to process the film and everything, but also on your day, we have to properly expose it. So like we have light meters that we need to just check. It's like this separate little tool that helps us expose properly for the photo, but it takes time to do that. And it also takes time to like focus it right and compose it right because we got that one shot. These shots are more, it's not like a digital camera where you can just click. Like no, it's one click, crank the thing, another click. So it's a lot slower. Film is a lot slower. So, and fun fact is I actually modeled my presets off of two of my favorite film stocks because I wanted a mix of both, and I took what I liked from both and I tested it over a lot of different photos over a long period of time to develop the cohesive, consistent look you see all over my website and on Instagram and what have you. So with that being said, another thing to note is if you don't necessarily want filmed photos because maybe it's a little too expensive, you can literally just, if you find photographers whose editing style looks like film, you get the best of both worlds there. A lot of film photographers do tend to charge a lot more because film is expensive, and especially because it's now becoming even more and more popular, the price of it keeps raising. So the price of buying the film, developing the film, having it scanned, all of this just continues to add up. So hybrid shooters and just film-specific shooters, photographers, tend to be a lot more expensive. Just because film is expensive. And even mastering how to shoot film is a whole different side of things, which that's why I love having gone to school for this, because we started out shooting film before we switched to digital. So I had my foundation in film and then started shooting digital. So on the instances where you don't want to necessarily have to worry about slowing down or pausing for that still film shot, you can just instead look for photographers whose photos look like film. It's a great middle ground. So, to summarize all the different styles we talked about: documentary, no direction; candid, a little direction; editorial, lots of direction; fine art, it's like editorial, but a lot more light and airy. So more museum than magazine cover. And then film, which is technically not a full style, but it's a term that we hear a lot. Now, one main thing to keep in mind is a lot of photographers have more than one style. You may have a blend of a couple styles even. I tend to be more candid, but with a touch of editorial. But there are also a lot of moments in the wedding day where I go completely documentary. During the reception, at that point, I'm completely documentary. I'm more candid or editorial when we're taking couple photos, wedding party photos, and family photos. So it's really just that hour and a half to 2 hours of your wedding day where you get a lot of input from me. And then for the rest of the day, I'm kind of just a fly on the wall, just documenting as everything's unfolding. So now, when you're reaching out to different photographers, where you're perusing websites and everything, you now have a better understanding of what styles actually mean. And disclaimer, my definitions aren't the end all be all. These are just what I've learned, and having talking to, my photographer peers, this is most of our understandings of these different styles. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I will be looking out to hear from you about the different styles, about I actually thought that candid meant this, or documentary meant that. We're all for discussion, okay? Like I said, my way isn't the end all be all. So I hope this helps, and I will see you again in 2 weeks with another video.